welcome back to another episode of Last Day on Survival. Today we return to boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and today, oh baby, today do we got some good stuff for you. And you might be like, Star, why is the chopper broken again? Long story short, we were streaming today, I hit a deer, and it broke my chopper. Tragic story, I know, but I'll fix it up at some point or another. Long story short, that's not the main thing of today. The main thing of today, we got a raid, we got a visit to the bunker, and most important of all, boom! The patch notes for the next update have recently leaked. Now, this is gonna mean a couple of things that we are going to be breaking down. Number one, this likely means that the update is in alpha testing, because usually the patch notes are like, these things can't exactly be leaked until like they are accessible via something like alpha testing. So by the looks of it, some Russian fella over here was alpha testing it and ended up leaking the patch notes. Now, the issue you might be coming across is like, Star, none of us can't understand this besides the couple random of y'all that may or may not be able to speak Russian. Well, luckily for y'all, through my extensive knowledge of every language in the universe, because I am that super smart. Yes, definitely all me. You want to see me use these amazing language powers that are all inside of my head and nowhere else? In that case, I need your help to give my brain cells the power they need. Please, please. These brain cells, they need likes. Smash that like button like you never smashed it before, and we might be able to translate and decrypt that which is in front of us. Hold up, I'm gaining the power. I'm gaining the last couple of likes that I can. Guys, help us out. Can this be? This is what it looks like we got on our smorgasbord for the upcoming updates that, I mean, if it's already in alpha testing since the, whatchamacall, assuming it is in alpha testing because the patch notes have leaked, likely it's something we can expect, hopefully this week, but I can't imagine it will take longer than next week at this point. But at the end of the day, time will tell. But let's break down what this new update is going to be bringing in. The first section, survival in Sector 7, making it seem like it is going to be a Sector 7 centric type update. Hunger and thirst are just as dangerous as other threats in Sector 7. Behind the wall, you can also have a bite to eat. There are blackberries, blackberry tea, tuna, and a diet. Entirely new types of food that we are seeing. I don't know what the diet food is. I'm guessing that might be a little bit of a translation issue over there. However, food does not immediately restore your health. It will take some time to become strong again. So likely this is going to be kind of how we have seen healing with food items happen in other mobile survival games, where you kind of heal a little bit over time and just like not immediately get a ton of health at once. I don't think this is going to affect single player and like how you use like steak and maybe heal up 20 health or something at a time. This looks like it is going to be strictly beyond Sector 7. Medicine, a new class of medicine has appeared in the game. Although it takes some time to use them, they immediately restore health. Be careful, an antibiotic, which is likely one of those, or maybe the main types of medicine, or maybe that's the new class of medicine, an antibiotic, it can lead to an overdose. An overdose? What in tarnation? Well, by the looks of it, an overdose is an extremely unpleasant state when the survivor feels sick, moves slow, cannot build anything, and works with a workbench. I'm guessing that might mean like you can't like interact with a workbench, kind of like, let's just say if like, it's kind of like you have to pee, except you can't empty your vitamin P supplies. Kind of imagine it like that from what it's sounding like, and you only have a little health is restored. So again, do not take an antibiotic more than 2 times in a row. So it appears that a lot of these changes, from what we are hearing, it's kind of prepping Sector 7 for a PvP update or more types of combat, because it looks like these are some kind of very important balancing changes. So when you go into PvP, it's not just a spam fest of whoever has more healings wins, but there's actually going to be some sorts of strategies that you have to employ when you do ultimately attack other people that you run across. So this is actually a really big deal. It might not seem like a lot, but this is a lot of like balancing stuff. So like PvP is kind of unique and strategic and not just who has more band-aids wins. So very interested to see how this ends up coming along, and I'm guessing the next Sector 7 update might ultimately bring together that ability, and maybe just gonna be also like with some of the PvE locations in Sector 7, like for example from the roadmap, there are also co-op dungeons that they are preparing us for, in addition to that PvP dungeons and new character upgrades and multiplayer locations. And I'm guessing with some of these kind of like more bigger picture multiplayer type zones, they probably want to start incorporating this kind of new system that will make more sense in a a multiplayer context and especially in a PvP context. So don't get me wrong, I mean, this would suck in single player to not be able to heal instantly, but in the context of multiplayer, this seems actually like a pretty important change and like a big signal that PvP is something that is being prepared for, especially with some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about, because a little bit later on, they talk about how the network code over down at the technical part has undergone some changes that affect the connection speed and data synchronization with the server. So again, like with every Sector 7 update, they are decreasing the lag and trying to make the game overall as responsive as possible, and that is going to be incredibly important for PvP in Sector 7, because if the game's super laggy, well, that's not exactly going to be the best thing to PvP in, but that's also another step over there. But all right, let's go back to construction in Sector 7. Now, you do not need to invest in construction on the outpost location. Instead, players will be able to create workbenches and arrange them as they see fit. In addition, a bonfire and rain catcher have been added for a comfortable life in Sector 7, so you'll now be able to cook food by the looks of it and also catch water. So food and water are something that, by the looks of it, we need to worry about in Sector 7 as well, just further adding in the single player features into multiplayer and getting us closer and closer to having that multiplayer experience truly be complete and preparing us for that big picture stuff like PvP and just overall a more complete survival experience in Sector 7. Because right now, it's not the most complete experience, but with every update, they are kind of inching closer and closer and adding in like very essential building blocks towards having that happen. There's also a new rank where the clans have a new title. The right hand responsibilities include inviting players, editing the message of the day, the description of the clan, changing the type of joining, and ranks of clan members. So further more multiplayer stuff that is kind of preparing us for kind of more clan stuff. And that does remind me, by the way, in case you guys do not know, clans are going to likely be very important. And this is another good thing to see this get added in, because if you follow me over here, one of the coolest locations that has been teased for such a long time and we've yet to access is beyond the wall in Sector 7. That is the pump jack, available only during clan wars. And guess what? These types of clan updates that further the clan system and get us closer to a complete clan system, and subsequently the ability for our clans to ultimately go to war, that is where the pump jack is going to be interesting, and that is something that we are working towards as well. There's also some sort of location generation thing where all resource locations are now randomly generated. New objects have been added, so it looks like the locations are going to be more unique. There's going to be more like different types of objects scattered throughout there, and overall it's just going to feel more alive in Sector 7, which is also a big part. And then finally, Season 1, we have extended the time needed to collect the resources needed to get your Paragon bike. Now anyone who wants to can do this to get rough skin. I don't know what rough skin means, but I'm guessing that's a bad translation of the chopper skin. So there you boys and girls have it. This is a rough translation that hopefully my super amazing knowledge of every language in the universe that I have stored in my head and absolutely nowhere else, hopefully this knowledge was able to knock that out and get that right. Let me know what you guys think about this. What are you most looking forward to out of this update? Now, the thing is, guys, with this multiplayer update, remember, multiplayer updates do not take away from single player updates. There are completely different parts of the Kafir team working on each part, because multiplayer coding is a whole different beast from single player coding. So like the multiplayer coders, they work on different stuff because they specialize in like more multiplayer type things versus what the single player peeps are working on. So this should not be taking away from Season 2 or the next big single player update that Kafir has said in the past they were aiming to have out around, I believe, September is the latest that we have heard. So I'm guessing that might be that Season 2 update. The time frame does line up very nicely with the fact that Season 1 is going to go kaput in 3 days and 20 hours, which is pretty much going to be the beginning of September. And they recently have said that they are working and likely bundling in some long-awaited content, quote unquote, into the Season 2 update. That is where things are interesting, because there is no content that's been more long awaited than the ATV. So from what they're saying, from some context clues here or there, this may very well be the focus of Season 2. And if that's the case, Season 2 already looking infinitely better than Season 1. Season 1, it's been meh. Okay, like it's had some cool stuff, but that's been overshadowed by awful loot and extremely hard tasks. But the bosses are super cool and all sorts of jazz like that. And speaking of cool stuff, we do have a little bit of an unboxing to get done today. But first things first, we need to find the one who is blind. That is right, the blind one boss at floor 3 of the hard mode of Bunker Alpha. And let's just go ahead and clear out some of the enemies along the way, because we got some green tickets, we got some yellow tickets, and if all goes well, I mean, we should literally, it doesn't even matter if it goes well. The blind one will die today, and he will drop 10 red tickets, unless somehow he decides to be a douche canoe and drop us 9. But that has never happened. He has literally dropped 10 tickets every single time in existence that we have killed him. And okay, green crate's looking okay. Nothing super amazing, but the green crate isn't exactly known for being amazing. It just kind of has some decent loot for the easiest tickets to get. Let's freaking go. The yellow crate is having a little bit of promise over here. Why don't I toss on that military armor and ooh, the M16 Uzi Jacuzzi Wombo combo? All sorts of valuable raw resources. I'm tossing on the military armor, by the way, because I don't want to get my SWAT armor dinked up. We're saving that for today's raid. And the military armor is more than enough for the underground military bunker base known as Alpha. But regarding the notes that we went over today, let me know what you guys think about them in that comment section down below. What do you guys think about some of the new features? What are your guys' thoughts on them? And what do you guys think about how they tie in with just the overall kind of Sector 7? Because, like, don't get me wrong, there are, oh baby, was not expecting my pistol to completely break already. Like, don't get me wrong, they are definitely not the most significant changes, but they are very necessary changes in the context of Sector 7 and are getting us very close, if not almost completely at. I think the main thing we're missing after this update pretty much is just like a permanent base that we can call our own for us to be able to, let's heal up over there, that was looking bad, for us to be able to have a kind of almost near single player type experience in Sector 7. The main thing that we are missing is kind of like a permanent base to call our own, because again, our base gets destroyed every 3 days by the obnoxious thing known as the storm that they did not mention any sort of removal of or anything. So assuming right now the storm is going to continue existing in Sector 7, which is a thing that comes and breaks your base every 3 days. So yeah, still a little bit bummed by that, because the storm is definitely just poopy. Having to worry about that thing pretty much, I don't know, just kind of like discourages you from doing Sector 7, because a lot of your hard work just goes, just disappears because a storm comes and destroys your base. It destroys all the workbenches you've worked on. It literally destroys some of your chests. It destroys any of your chest upgrades. It's just overall pretty lame. So I really hope that Kafir reconsiders this, and they have said it's a placeholder for something else. So I'm guessing that it might just be a placeholder for a future feature, like maybe every 3 days or whatever, something like, I don't know, like a raid will happen where you have to raid off or like battle against another clan, you know, that is trying to attack your base. It could just be a placeholder for that, because that would be a type of feature that requires PvP, which, as we have kind of gone over today, is something that is definitely, we are definitely inching towards, especially with what we've seen in this update. That looks like the direction that Kafir is going for. They are trying to put in all the systems that they can for a complete and balanced PvP experience. And while some of the stuff within this update, I thought that guy, I thought the exploder was like in the wall and I wasn't gonna be able to loot him. That would have been poopy. But from everything that we have going on over here, like alone, these don't seem like the biggest changes or the coolest changes, but in the context of them being necessary changes for balanced and good PvP, that is where I like a lot of the stuff that we are seeing today. But let me know what you guys think about it in that comment section down below. Your guys' thoughts on the medicines, on the overdoses, on apparently the ability that, you know, you don't need to like repair benches at your base. Instead, you craft the benches and like put them down from what that construction in Sector 7 section was sounding like, along with how that location generation is going to be working as well, because I'm interested to see how these locations might be different, and maybe we'll have some more loot or better loot or something as a result of that generation. I definitely think that's something that I'm not expecting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it potentially was a side effect or feature of this kind of improved random generation that they are talking about. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Sector 7, you know, the food being added over there, water being added over there, and just a lot of these essential survival elements that are very central to the last day on Earth experience, and we are seeing added in, which is again just big signs that PvP is something that they are working towards, and this is very much so necessary systems, like we were saying, for PvP to be a complete and balanced experience, because I really want them to nail PvP the first time, because PvP is gonna be such a huge part of the game. Like, once it gets added in, the ability to literally battle other players. And by the looks of it, Kafir is really taking their time, just trying to make sure that they get it right, improving the code and making sure that everything is as responsive as possible and makes sense for PvP as possible. So hopefully it is a good experience the first time around that we do see it added in. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this upcoming update, what you guys think about these leaked patch notes, any and all that type of jazz in that comment section down below. And a reminder that that comment is gonna put you 1/3 of the way into the weekly $12 at Touch Play Store gift card giveaway. All you gotta do as well is make sure to like button, make sure to subscribe, and that'll enter you in on today's video. Y'all can go ahead and enter in on every single Last Day on Earth video. When Saturday rolls around, we'll pick a random video for the past week, pick a random comment from that random video, and that will be the winner for the week, and we'll kick off a new weekly giveaway that exact same Saturday as well. So make sure to stay tuned with that notification bell to stay up to date with every single video. Y'all can enter in on for that weekly giveaway, not to mention all the other dope survival games going up on the channel as well that you should definitely give a look in case you guys have not already. If you guys like Last Day on Earth, great chance you are going to be liking Miss Survival, because they share a lot of survival elements, and Miss Survival has some really cool stuff going on, and some really big things have been going on in that series lately. Not to mention, we just checked out Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey, which is such a unique survival game. I'm having actually a really fun time with it, so in case you guys have not already, give that one a look as well, because if you like it, I don't think there's ever been a survival game like it released before. It is literally like, you literally get to like evolve your species, and as they evolve, they like learn to craft, they learn to like hold items in their hands. Like, it's absolutely insane. Give the first episode a look. I genuinely think that you guys might enjoy the bejesus out of it. And let's not forget that that notification bell is also a great way to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest of Last Day on Earth information, such as these leaked patch notes of today. As soon as that type of info does come out about the game, we are spreading it to you guys and gals, eyes and ears, absolutely ASAP, making sure that you guys are aware of what new stuff is coming to the game and how that does relate to everything that the game currently does have. And shotgun rain to you, Mr. Blind One, thank you for the goods. But how it does relate to everything that we currently have in game, how it relates to stuff that we know is coming to the game as well, and overall how it fits into the Last Day on Earth picture, not to mention videos as well. Whenever like gameplay sneak peeks in the forms of images or gameplay videos, any stuff like that do come out, we're spreading it to y'all, breaking those down and showing off all that type of jazz as well. And of course, not only do we keep you guys in the loop with the future of Last Day on Earth, but the present as well. Anytime a new update does come out or anything new is added into the game, we are showing it off for you lads and lassies, so you guys know what that new stuff looks like, how any new bosses might be, new locations might be, any and all that type of jazz. And we are always coming as equipped as humanly possible. Nothing is going to get between us and showing off the new stuff. And if it's an enemy of some sort or a location, defeating those new enemies, maybe not destroying the new locations, but defeating everything and clearing out the entirety of locations, all that type of jazz is all stuff that we are constantly plotting to do. So make sure that y'all are staying tuned for that as well. And especially the Sector 7 update that sounded like it's going to be pretty interesting, and with some of the location changes. And let's freaking go, baby. Little bit of C4. Never a bad sign to collect a little bit of that. No SWAT armor. Little bit disappointed by this, not going to lie. Let's collect what we can. Glug, 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 glug. Drink up on the water and pick up the wheel and a couple of other things like that. And dude, we still got some pretty valuable stuff over here that I want to make sure that we grab. So why don't we put those into there? And for now, I will come back for a lot of this stuff. I do not like leaving valuables behind, but we got some decent stuff over here I want to pick up, like aluminum and other jazz like that. And let's go ahead and toss that SWAT armor back on, because we now have a raid we need to go ahead and work towards, and that is exactly what I do plan on doing. But yeah, seriously, with this new update, I'm excited to see this multiplayer update and the stuff that they are talking about, because this kind of healing over time thing is something that we have seen in other mobile survival games that run on the same engine as Last Day on Earth, and they can even be strategic as well, because, you know, if you eat a bunch of food, you can kind of like prepare yourself for big battles you're about to get into, and you know, you can like eat a bunch of food and then start fighting, and then while you're fighting, you'll still be healing from eating that food. So it's gonna be very cool to see how like the strategy of eating food at specific times plays into everything. Wow, I am literally 1 energy off of that, bruh. Hey, back down to 30 speed it goes. But I am interested to see how kind of eating food is gonna be strategic, along with your limited use of medicine before you gotta worry about overdosing, and kind of, it's gonna be interesting to see how like people strategically save their medicine to use at certain times to prevent themselves from dying to the best of their ability, and that's what I'm talking about. This is where kind of strategy with your heals is more important, especially in a PvP multiplayer context, and why this is such a big deal for the future, because then it's not just gonna be, oh, I have more heals than you, I win the battle. It's gonna be, oh no, I used my heals wrong, I lose the battle. And there's gonna be more skill to it, you know? So it's gonna hopefully prevent a little bit of that pay to win aspect of potentially just having all the heals in the world, and it's gonna be more strategic with the food you have in addition to how you use limited heals. Because I mean, being able to overdose after using more than 2 antibiotics in a row, that sounds like it could be pretty brutal. And it's gonna be interesting to see how that whole medicine stuff does play together. But without further ado, let's go and kick off everyone's favorite, well, maybe not everyone's favorite, but it's my favorite part of every day. It starts with R and ends in aid. It's a little thing known as the daily raid. So let's go and craft up some of the hatchets we're gonna need to help us throughout this. We got a couple of iron hatchets as well, and that very helpful C4 that we were able to acquire throughout today's shenanigans. So without further ado, let's go and take the chugga choo choo, our deer freaking our motorcycle that was scarred by a deer bike out and out over to this raid. Why did I say out twice? I don't know what you're talking about. I only said it once. You're imagining things. PM Valetao. I probably butchered that, I admit it. Let's go and see what you have hiding for me. Do you have the update hidden within your base? Can I collect the update from one of your chests and apply it to my game? That'd be very cool, because I'm genuinely curious to see a lot of the new stuff that is added in and how it is going to tie together, because especially since it just means that there's a new update close usually, and that has me excited because I like new updates. I like new stuff, but I think this is a very well established fact if you have been watching Starsnipe videos for any amount of time. Your boy likes his updates, but you should also know that your boy likes his raids. And let's go and bloop our way into here and break down everything semi-valuable that we can. We got chest numero uno over there. We got chest numero dos over here. Then we will have chest numero tres. And from there, we will kind of break down some of the other stuff. We're going to save that chest for the last second, just so we could hopefully get as many zombies to spawn as possible first and deal with them in one fell swoop, since we do have our shotgun rain modification along for the ride. And we're just trying to break down everything we can, because this does not appear to be the biggest raid by any means. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to bring everyone over to this little doorway, and as you guys can see, it's a rather large horde of enemies, because we have a lot of them. Oh yeah. And there, now that everyone has gathered around, please, I have a little thing for y'all known as shotgun rain. And that just killed about everyone that wasn't a floater bloater. Now we can wait for the shotgun rain to regenerate. And since we have a little bit of noise to spare with this raid, I don't mind hitting them with another one. I'm gonna make DJ Khaled proud at this rate, but unfortunately, we do need to wait for this rate to be proudened by DJ Khaled. Let's take it from the top. Shotgun rain. Woo! And goodbye to everyone except the one random toxic abomination who has now been killed as well. Holy guacamole, that's a lot of dead bodies. But with, oh, I don't have a hatchet. I did not bring enough hatchet. Okay, wait. Do I have more hatchet in my motorcycle? I feel like I do. Yeah, okay, I do. I was about to say, like, did we use everything? No, I just left some stuff behind. And from here, since there is only, does the truck have anything? No, so there's only 4 chests and then these workbenches, so we have plenty of noise to spare. The next wave will not be summoned under any circumstances unless for some reason we decide to start breaking into fires, but I don't think we're gonna get that desperate for loot. Then again, the early pickings of this raid are not looking the ooh. I mean, they're not looking the berry tea. Oh my God, I'm disappointed. That's illegal. Why do you make berry tea? Listen, you might be like, Star, why do you hate berry tea? Listen, there's this thing where berry tea does not heal your health, but berries do. Never turn a healing item into a non-healing item, especially one that is just glorified water. Literally, I actually think water might give you more thirst than berry tea. Berry tea is just, don't. Please, just don't. But hey, apparently we're rating like Bugs Bunny or something, because wow. That's a lot of carrots. I might as well grab some of the water now that we don't get it on the daily anymore. And I guess we could take some other stone bricks to take our pain away from the beans. And ooh, shiny. Got ourselves an electronic circuit and a couple of other semi-valuable things like that. And within the final chest, okay. A little bit of gas, and yeah, why don't we go and try to put some of this stuff away, and then I'll just kind of continue sifting through all those chests that we did just pop open. But from this point, pretty much I just gotta kind of pick and choose what we want out of the chest. We have shown off everything that we wanted, although, just note to self, if you ever get an electronic circuit and you have a chopper, always store it away into your chopper, especially if it's a raid that you get from the raiders. Speaking of which, the raiders have been disappointing us so much lately, man. We're not getting any revenge raids. And I can't remember the last time that we got a good raid from the raiders. Raiders, I'm calling you out. I need you to give me a good raid. Can you do that? I don't know at this rate. I don't know. Time will tell. But yeah, with that said and with that done, I'm just gonna continue sifting through and grabbing whatever loot I can and just trying to make the most out of this raid because, yeah, we definitely gotta make the most out of it. But with that said and with that done, that's gonna start wrapping it up for me for now. Thank you guys a whole ton for watching. Have yourselves an awesome one, and I'll talk to you next one. See ya.